My little sister's twins were born at the beginning of the summer, and as soon as I got off the plane, I was able to go see my twin sisters. And it really was a lot of fun. And I was so excited that my sisters were born. And I remember in the parking lot, my dad giving me my Christmas and my birthday presents, which was kind of crazy. And it was cool because he gave me a Polaroid camera, and I think that was one of the first times that I really got into cameras. So, my third grade summer, I really did want to spend a lot of time over at my dad's because I loved the babies. And honestly, my stepsister didn't like the babies, and she didn't like babysitting as much as I did. And I did go to my grandma's a whole lot that summer too. And this is the summer where at Vacation Bible School, I got saved, technically, I guess. It was really strange because I felt like I was already saved. I thought that I was already saved. I really did, as far as asking Jesus into your heart. I'm like, yeah, Jesus is in my heart. He's with me all the time. He's like one of my guides, like always guiding me. And so I felt like I was already saved, but my friend in Vacation Bible School, she was like, "Do you want to stay after and get saved?" And I was just like, "Yeah." And I just said that because I thought that she did, and I thought, that that would be the right Christian thing to do is help her get saved. And so I stayed after to help her and to give her support. And they said the prayer with her, and then they said the prayer with me. And we got these little cards, we got saved, and go home and tell your parents. And I went home and told my grandparents and my aunt, and everybody celebrated. And it was like a really cool big deal. And so I it made me feel special. And so yeah, after that, every time I went to church and every time they did an invitation, I would go to the front to get saved because I was just like, oh, I thought that I was saved, but I wasn't saved. Now I am saved and everybody's celebrating, so maybe I need to continue to get saved, every church. And so I was going up to the front all the time. And after church, my aunt pulled me to the side and talked to me about how once saved, always saved. And she also had my pastor. She set up a meeting for me to talk to my pastor about once saved, always saved. And it's not that I believe that now, but that is what I experienced at that time. And that summer, I spent a lot of time at my dad's, watching the babies, and had a lot of fun with my stepsister. And my stepsister was like, "Come on, girl, you want to come with me?" And she had stolen some of my mom and my stepdad smoked marijuana. And she had stolen some, and she knew how to smoke it and everything. I think she had it in a joint. And we snuck out and we went into the woods and we smoked. And I don't know, I enjoyed it. I thought that that was fun. Other things that happened, whenever we were playing with all the kids, there's kids along the street and kids across the street and everything, and they came and they tarred the street, and we were having like a tar fight, and it got all in my hair. And remember how my grandma acted whenever I come over? My dad's all upset. Well, this upset my stepmom often. And so they were like, "Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? She has tar all in her hair," because we had a tar fight. And my dad just poured paint thinner down my back, and it chemically burned me, and it just kept getting worse. And I was like, ah! And so they had to take me to the hospital, to Children's Hospital, and I was fine. They were able to do whatever to cool it down, and I was okay. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it was crazy. And so at the end of my third grade year, my mother, I don't know what's going on with her, my stepdad. I don't know, but apparently she was going through it. So she asked if I could stay in Arkansas to stay with my grandma. And so I did. But I don't know if that's exactly what happened. I really don't know what the adults decided. All I know is that I started fourth grade where I had started kindergarten, and here I am back on the bus. And my fourth grade year, there were only 5 girls in our whole entire class. The rest were boys. And so, yeah, and I'd met this girl right away, and she had the same name as one of my guides. And she was like, "Do you like Barbies?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I like Barbies." And she's like, "Cool, I like Barbies too." And we became friends, and I became friends with all the girls in that class. And um, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And in school, I was considered a gifted child. School came easy to me. I didn't even have to try. As far as doing an assignment or reading, it doesn't matter what it was. It came easy to me. And I was considered a gifted child, but what I would do is I would hurry up and get done with my work. And then I would ask my neighbor, which would be like one of my girlfriends, if she was done with her work. And if not, I'd be like, "Can I do it for you?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." And I would do her work so that me and her would both be done and we can pass notes back and forth in class. So that's what I did. And, they said that I was a gifted child, but I don't know. I think a lot comes with that, like a lot of heavy burdens for the children, and it wasn't easy. I certainly didn't live up to the expectations of the adults in my life for being a gifted child. I definitely did not live up to the expectations, but I was, and school came easy, and for me, it was more about let's get the work out of the way so that we can get to the play. And that's just how I was. And in fourth grade, because I had been saved, that was the first year that I tried my hardest to I wanted to rid all sin out of my life. Get rid of all sin. So that was the year that I tried my hardest not to lie at all. No lies. And I failed every single day. It was just like, "You're a liar, you're a liar, you're a liar, you're a liar, you're a liar. The more you try not to be a liar, the more you're going to be a liar." So, whoa, I don't know what was going on, but I was not able to conquer lying. And the more I tried, the harder it got. So I had to really, really, I don't know. I ended up reevaluating and deciding I'm a liar. I'm not going to try not to be a liar. And that's how that was with that year. And I still, there's been many times throughout my life that I look back on that time and I'm like, yeah, I'm a liar. And I can't really try not to. Now I feel like I'm able to tell the truth a lot more. A lot about telling the truth is facing fears, and back then I didn't realize that. I was just trying to not lie, but at the same time I wouldn't face any fears. I was still a child. And so, yeah, not lying is not easy. It's really about facing fears more than anything. Be fearless. To live in the truth is to live in fearlessness, and that's the truth. At least what I've learned so far. But yeah. So yeah, and then that Christmas was the Christmas that I got my first full Bible. And so this was whenever I really started reading. Before I was reading Psalms, Proverbs, and the New Testament, and reading through it. And Proverbs, I would just absorb. I loved the wisdom. There hasn't been a time in my life that I haven't loved wisdom. Give me a wise saying. Yes, like I don't know if I'll do the right thing with it, but give me a wise saying. And so this was the year that I got my first Bible with my name printed in gold, a black Bible, had this little thing, little tassel, everything. I loved this Bible. I really held it near and dear to my heart for years. And this is whenever I first started reading fully through the Bible, and I dedicated myself to reading the Bible full through. No matter how much, you can read a couple pages a day, and you'll get there eventually. That's just the kind of mindset that I've always had, is if I take a couple steps every day, I can get there eventually. It might take me forever, but I'll get there eventually, as long as I keep taking steps, and that's whenever what that does though with me is whenever I get knocked back, it really, really bothers me because I'm like, oh, I want to get there. But that's another another day, another talk, another time. But anyway, so yeah, my fourth grade year, I would go to my dad's house a whole lot, especially on the weekends. And so that's whenever me and my sister, we would, she was stuck with the twin babies all the time, which I was jealous of. And she was so happy whenever I came over. You take over. But we would play, one of our favorite movies to watch was The Labyrinth. And we would play The Labyrinth. And we would use the twins. Well, actually, one of them mostly. But whenever we got two, we'd use both. For Toby, it was our job to find Toby, find the baby, rescue the baby that had been stolen from us through the labyrinth of the woods. And we had a creek nearby. It's just a small little creek, and we named it Mermaid Creek because we were into mermaids. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. And we did get in trouble. There was a time that we went to cow field, and we jumped into a cow pond, and my dad found us, and he was mad. We were like, oh my gosh, what is he so mad about? Oh my gosh. But he was mad because, of course, we were in a cow pond, nasty cow pond. It was not a swim pond. It was a nasty cow pond, and we had to go and shower and bathe and clean up and everything. And so, yeah, we got into a lot of trouble that year. And where we lived, it was a big hill. And so we would walk our bikes up the big hill and then ride our bikes down the hill, fun. And one day we were walking our bikes up the hill, me and my stepsister, and there was glass all over. And I was like, what are we going to do about this glass? And she's like, it's fine. As long as you go really fast, it won't be able to do anything. So we'll just have to pedal really, really fast, really, really hard before we go through. And I was like, okay, I wasn't really sure about this. I was like, I don't know about this. And so I let her go first, and she made it just fine. So I was like, okay, I've got this. I just gotta go really, really, really fast. And my tire popped, and I tumbled all the way down the hill, and I sprained my wrist, and I was in a lot of pain. And I guess I didn't know it back then, but I have a high pain tolerance. So if I'm telling you that it hurts, it hurts. And I remember my stepmom just dismissing my pain and just acting like it was nothing, and I'm a crybaby, and I just cried myself to sleep. I felt so unloved because I was so hurting, but nobody cared. I went to my grandparents the next day, and at school, it was my writing hand. It was my right wrist. And I went to school the next day, and I wasn't able to write. My grandma took me to the doctor and found out that I had indeed sprained my wrist. I did not break my wrist like I thought, like I thought that I broke my wrist, and then I had to have it wrapped, and I couldn't do my work. We had to have someone do my work for me in class, and it was very complicated, and it really wasn't good for a good classroom stuff. But for me, I loved it, and I felt like I deserved to have a writer for me forever. Like I'm some kind of royalty or something. I don't know what I was thinking in my little kid head, but it was hard for me to detach from, you don't need your writer no more. You need to write yourself. And I remember the first time I did an assignment, I on purpose, I just scribbled everything, and it wasn't even legible. And she's like, A plus. It made me so angry that was an A plus, because I knew it wasn't an A plus. But that's how it is. That's how it was. And I think she was trying to teach me a lesson, honestly, that I can do it. And after that, I did. I started doing it, and I started writing again. But yeah, that experience was very traumatic for me and very crazy, because I was upset that, my stepmom didn't love me. She thought I was just a crybaby, but I really was hurt. And it's hard for me to change too, because in school I was doing everybody's work, and then now they're trying to help me. And yeah, it is what it is. And that's my fourth grade year.